So do we want to go into we'll go into our first topic here. That's the Amiibo controversy. And there's actually quite a bit to this, more than I was expecting when it was kind of, because it was shown. I was like, that's a cool looking Amiibo. And then really, I think it came down to like the price and then its functionality that got people going a bit wild online there. But this is the Zelda and Loftwing Amiibo, which I'll say first off, the Amiibo looks, I think the Amiibo looks great.
Yeah, it looks cool.
It's a good looking Amiibo, and we'll see. I guess the quality of it coming out of the factory, but a lot of people are just going to leave it in the packaging, I assume. So they'll see it from outside the plastic. Really, they won't get that real close look at it.
We're gonna touch the whole box to their controller.
Yeah,
it doesn't scan. I've tried it.
They have something. They have something underneath it. From what I remember, that blocks that NFC.
There's some shielding. Yeah, there's some shielding under there.
It blocks it. Unfortunately.
Then why buy? I don't know. I think it looks. I don't think it looks good, but if I get it, it's only going to be for the functionality.
Well, back then, I guess they assume people would take their 3DS or now even the Switch to the store and just start scanning these things at like at like a Toys R Us or something where it's like kind of in the back. They can just start scanning them. But the big thing was over on Nintendo's website, it reads, if you then use the Zelda and Loftwing Amiibo again while in the sky, you can return to the spot on the surface where you used it before. This in reference to the ability to essentially teleport from where you are to the sky and then back again, which was something you would normally have to go to a save point to do. So it's basically a shortcut if you have the Amiibo on hand when you touch it to your Switch Joy-Con, which has been described in many different ways. It's been described as a cheat code. It's been described as quality of life. It's all over the place online right now. But what's interesting to me is this isn't new necessarily for Amiibos when it comes to just extra things being like gated behind the Amiibo. But I kind of think this might have been a perfect storm for it, considering no one really cares about Metroid. I mean, at the time when it dropped on the 3DS with Samus Returns, because that had like an entire like mode locked behind the Amiibo.
Yeah, difficulty.
Yeah, and it had like the Zero Suit too, from what I remember. Like, it was like all this stuff. But no one really bought that game. Let's be honest about that one.
What about Twilight Princess on Wii U? Didn't that have a thing where if you scanned Wolf Link, you could instantly become Wolf Link anywhere or something?
That was Skyward. I think it was Breath of the Wild. You can like the Wolf Link comes out and like he'll help you. But Twilight Princess, that has like a dungeon area and an item exclusive.
That's what it was. Yeah.
To the Amiibo. And like here's another bad one. Nobody bought this game as much too, but Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia, that has 2 exclusive dungeons, like whole gameplay paths with that, but nobody cared about that either. You know, I think there's a couple things with this one. One, people were already, it was already a controversial release because the game's, $60. That was a whole thing when they first showed that. And then on top of that, it's the Switch, which is, I mean, it's Nintendo's most popular system that they've probably really done, especially in the home console space. And then it's Zelda. So like you stack all these things up and there's just a lot more eyes on this situation. So even if they've pushed the Amiibos in the past, this is like, and the Amiibo is more expensive. It's $25, I guess. So like a lot of things added up to where people were like, well, hold on, let's take a look at this here. Don, you know what I have the problem with? I don't have the problem because I've played through Skyward Sword multiple times. I don't have the problem with the functionality because the functionality is stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like it's, if you've played Skyward Sword, this is dumb. There's bird statues all over the place. It's literally stupid. The problem that I have is how they presented it. They should have said, hey, you can go through multiple times and teleport wherever with these bird statues. They're all over the place. But for those who maybe need a little bit of help, here's this for you. I would have presented it that way. The way that they made it seem as if you're going to be traveling back and forth all the time and you're going to need a bunch of stuff. No, you don't. Skyward Sword is one of the easiest Zelda games. It's not hard, even on hero mode.
Yeah, well, because the whole point was that was they're still during that early. We're figuring out motion controls. I feel like they had to make the difficulty low for the people that just literally were limp-wristed kids who couldn't even swing fast enough.
So that's the issue that I have. Is I have the issues with the way that they presented it, because most of us are not going to even care about using this at all. You're not going to need it. But the way that they presented it, they made it seem as if it's like Breath of the Wild. You're going to be going back and forth, and you need to teleport to different places. So I have a problem with how they presented it because most people haven't played this game, right? Most people have not played this game. It's one of the worst selling. I think Majora's Mask is the other one But
and that one
Majora's
you need an
Mask,
expansion pack for. This one you need the Wii Motion Plus, but it was like on the back half of, or the back end of the Wii.
the very back end of the Wii, they re-released it on like the Wii U, I think. So that's just the problem I have, is that they didn't do they should have done a better job with exactly explaining, like in terms of things, but the functionality is dumb. I think it's like Funky Kong. It's just stupid functionality in my opinion.
I did a video about this week. I actually think that part of the reason people are mad is because the controllers as well. So the fact that originally when you bought Skyward Sword on Wii, it came with a gold controller and Wii Motion Plus built in and the game all together for $60. And now you're paying $60 for the game, $80 for those controllers, which is obviously optional, and the $25 for the Amiibo, which is obviously optional. But I think a lot of people, like I've noticed a lot of Nintendo collectors just being like, man, all right, so I'm paying hundreds of dollars to get the same experience. I think it's just that of like people being pushed.
You needed, there was two versions of it. So that's like the collector's edition that you're talking about. I think that was 70. The regular game was, I think, 50. So the regular game was it? Yeah. So like the regular game was 50 because Wii games were $50, but it needs Wii Motion Plus.
Right. So that's
they
had to give you that one. Yeah.
They had to give that option because it needs Wii Motion Plus. Either you have the dongle or you have the other controllers that were built in with it. So it needed
Which looked so good.
Yeah, so obviously it looks better with the regular one. Not the dongle one looks stupid. So I mean, yeah, there's it just looks weird.
It looked terrible.
Yeah, it did look terrible.
All right, Nate, let's hear it.
No, it's bad business. It's that simple, and it's a multitude of issues. Right now, we are operating under the idea that this functionality is the only quality of life change made to Skyward Sword for Switch. They have not announced a single, piece of evidence of another quality of life change.
I do want to say the new controls look fantastic, and that is a pretty big quality of life change, in my opinion. As somebody who doesn't like motion controls, the fact that I'm going to be able to use the right stick, I think that's big.
It is a big change, but is that change alone make the game a $60 effort?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. To me, it is. I see what you're saying, and I agree with you. But I'm buying it purely because of that, because I did not like the motion controls.